Through thousands of years of breeding, today's cultivated soybeans look almost nothing like their wild, low-lying ancient ancestors. And while this process provided an invaluable crop to the world, valuable traits may have been left behind. Now a group of USDA researchers in North Carolina are looking to wild soybeans to see what traits may benefit soybean farmers today.
We are interested in capturing the diversity inherent in wild soybean. We know from genomic analyses that they are substantially more diverse than cultivated soybean. And so because they're more diverse, we expect to find traits that improve seed composition, improve abiotic stress tolerance, and I also really think that we'll also find genes that improve yield as well.
I think it's very clear that we did leave a lot behind. A lot of genetic studies have shown that when the soybean was first domesticated from the annual wild soybean, that there was a really very tight bottleneck, that only a few of the genes that were existing in all the wild soybean were brought into the crop that we have today. And so what we left behind is a whole treasure trove of diversity that nobody has ever tried to tap.
By some measures, the wild soybean is about 7 times more diverse than the cultivated soybean. And by any measure, it's substantially more diverse. So you see how different the wild soybean looks from the cultivated soybean. In the process of selecting the few plants that really have these specific traits they're interested in, being upright, the seeds not shattering in the field, they've really selected away from a lot of the inherent diversity that still may be valuable, but was just not present in the lines that they were selecting from.
So what might be in a wild soybean? If you ask a farmer what's important, and people have said this over, it's yield, yield, and yield, right? And we think that there are yield genes in the wild soybean. Now we didn't have proof in the beginning, but our studies now would indicate that it's very likely that there are yield genes in the wild soybean, and we do have a way to extract them. So yield's got to be number one. Seed composition is another aspect. There are value-added traits.
I think we will be releasing lines that find their way into commercial and public breeding programs that ultimately will improve traits that the farmer is interested in. For example, things that improve yield, traits that improve the protein composition, for example, perhaps a better profile of amino acids that are more suitable for poultry and other farm animals. So our goal is to select the best lines to release that has traits that the farmer is interested in.
Finding a way to identify and pull out valuable traits has proved to be a stumbling block for previous wild soybean research. Most descendants from wild soy simply don't stand up like a normal bean. But an approach taken by these North Carolina researchers has proved to be successful in overcoming this problem. At the largest wild soybean nursery in the country, a tour is hosted in the fall for farmers and industry soybean breeders alike. Tour attendees scout more than 30 acres of wild soybean plants and flag the ones that look promising. These plants are then harvested and tested for what traits may lie inside. Farmer and industry participation in this process is an innovation.
We believe both in the public university sector and also within Pioneer that the wild relative of soybean holds a lot of traits that aren't commercially available currently, and we'd like to really mine that germplasm and come up with some things that are novel and potentially some new yield genes that are not commercially available now.
You know, it's easy to say that, well, with all the technology we have now, we could probably invent new beans. We could just make new beans. The truth is that we're pretty far away from that. The new genomic technology is helping us as plant breeders. It's very important, and we're using it in as smart and effective a way as we can. But I think what we don't want to do is ignore what Mother Nature has handed us over a millennia and tens of thousands of years.